Hello and welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator 2. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Last time out, I took a journey from, where was it? Gardla over to Tampere. I have no idea if that is pronounced correctly. Please do correct me if I am wrong. And I took a whole bunch of AMD Radeon graphics cards, rambling about graphics cards and their prices and how they're out of stock everywhere, and scalpers, and what I plan to do with my next machine. Now, I'm recording this video right after the last one, and I did say that I was going to go from Tampere over to this place. I'm struggling to figure out how to pronounce this. I'm going to attempt it. From what I know of Scandinavian languages and things like that, I'm guessing that this is Ilivieska, or something along those lines. I probably will not pronounce it again, and I'm certainly not going to try that one. Seinäjoki. I'm not going to attempt it. That one seems easy. Kaustanen. That seems relatively easy. But yes, so today's journey is going to be from this place to that place. That is what I'm going to be doing. And whilst on the journey, I think I'm probably going to be talking about Euro Truck Simulator 2 in general, and its longevity, because I have been playing this game for quite a long time, many years, making YouTube videos on it also for many years, hence 180 odd episodes, 188 episodes, isn't it now, in ETS2. In this series, I had a series prior to this, which I think is now unlisted apart from a couple of videos, but ETS2 has been around for quite some time, and before all of that, I actually remember purchasing ETS2 on DVD. So I did have that, and that was back in 2012, I think. So yes, I'm going to be talking a little bit about ETS2 and how much things have changed in ETS2, and also whether or not I think they really need an ETS3. So make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started, and let's get some 21 tons of empty pallets further north through Finland. Okay, here we are. Time to get moving, and this time I'm going to try very hard not to. I could turn this around very carefully, because there's a train going past. I'm going to try very hard not to hit anything. Last time out, I was doing so well, right up until I mentioned that I was doing reasonably well. And then things went a little wrong. So I'm going to try not to do that this time around. Now it is going to be dark through a lot of this, unfortunately, but we are fairly north, so I guess there isn't much I can do about that. Let's perhaps not clobber the curbs, shall we? Let's drive a little bit sensibly. So yes, ETS2. ETS2 has been... Why have you stopped? Why did you do that? ETS2 has been around for a long time. 13 years. And given that it has been around for 13 years, the number of updates that it has had and the number of mods that are available for it are quite incredible. I'm trying to think of any other title that has this sort of longevity. I really am, and I know this is a bit of a niche title, but any other title that has had this sort of longevity, even flight simulators have not really had that sort of longevity. Okay, FSX, Flight Simulator 10, some people still play it, but that came out in 2006, and honestly, within 10 years, by 2016, I would have said that people were not playing it. And yes, that did say Nokia. Whoa. Why did you break? Why did you break? Okay. Whoa. What on earth? Why did it feel like suddenly I'd lost some steering? That was strange. That was really strange. Try and change. What I'm trying to do there was I was trying to change gear, turn, and press the splitter button at the same time, which is not the easiest of things to do. There we go. Yes, I am trying to think of any title that has had the sort of longevity as Euro Truck Simulator 2 and being played as often as it is. Yes, there are titles that have the longevity, of course, but which ones have been played? I don't know what I've pressed. That was cruise control. Wait, does this actually work? I didn't realise that I had a cruise control button. Right, so that was cruise control. What I was trying to find were my beams, but oh, there's actually a red light here. All right. Eddie Stobart count for today 1. Oh, thank you. Let's head towards Nokia. I did not realise that this is where I was picking things up from. But, alright. Oh, it does work. It did work. 55. So last time out, I was looking at that and I was saying I wasn't doing 55. Apparently I must have been doing 55. Kilometres per hour, of course that is. I think my brain just got confused and was like, I'm not doing 55 miles per hour. Of course I wasn't doing 55 miles per hour, I was doing 55 kilometres per hour when the speed limit is 50. Right. TNT have made it all the way here. Might as well put this in low gears now. Yeah, we're just going to sit here for a bit. I'm not going to move any further forward. But yes, I remember when ETS2 first came out, and then there was the ETS2 Gold was available on disc as well, which was ETS2 with the Scandinavian DLC, which I think was the first DLC that was ever released. Or was it with Going East? No, Going East was not a... Was that the DLC? I have no idea. But I remember when that first came out, and things looked quite different for ETS2. What is going on? Alright. Well, thank you, Mr. Renault. And things have really changed in terms of graphics, in terms of... obviously there's mods. Was it 2015 when it came out on Steam? I think it was 2015 when it came out on Steam. Okay. I was going to go after you, but fine. Something I've just realised. My lights are... My light pattern is British, isn't it? It isn't European. I must be blinding everybody. I've just realised that. Right, anyway, I see the trailer, so I see our job, and let's get ourselves underway. There were very few vehicles available. Ooh, let's have a look at what I can take. I mean, DFDS is probably what I'm going to end up taking, but let's just have a peek at what it is. So it's empty pallets. So what else would be? What else would take empty pallets? These are just clean versions of those, right? Yes. Sainsbury's, no. Try something new today. DHL could perhaps do it. No, I think I'll just take what I've got. Might as well. Let's go. Why this is GPS tracked, I have absolutely no idea. It makes little sense. Why would this need to be GPS tracked? But there we go. But yes, there were very few things you could do. You couldn't really... I do not remember being able to mod your truck. I do not remember being able to do much at all with it. You used to be able to obviously drive in a few areas. Promods was not a thing, so you barely had anything there. And things were just very simple in ETS2. Now things are lots more complicated, which is really good. There's a lot more that goes on. And just in general, things are much nicer. Photo mode is obviously a thing that when I first started playing, I do not recall that being a thing. The UK still looks, apart from if you take off the Pro Mod stuff, it still looks as terrible as ever. It truly does. Let's see if there's any reasonable picture I can take. No, it's all dark. If I can come up with a time to take a picture, I shall. Might leave that window open just for a little bit of different noise. I might just leave that half open. Okay. Let's get ourselves underway. I see a vehicle coming, so I'll go after that. I am hauling 21 tons after all. There we go. That looks alright. There we go. Promods came along, the RJL Scania came along, there's the website, the ETS2 forums where a lot of the modding happened, so that there were a lot of things that would go on there. But just in general, the game was a lot simpler. The graphics weren't that great either, as I've mentioned before. There's a lot more... I keep stalling this engine. This engine is... I struggle with this one for some reason. The other engine I do not struggle with, but this one for some reason I do. What is going on? Oh, that coach really managed it. I believe that is what they, in America, they call it a zipper merge or something. Over here in the UK, you'd say merge in turn. The only reason I haven't done that is because everybody had already moved over. Generally, if everybody has moved over, it's a bit, maybe disrespectful to just go ahead and go past everybody. So yes, merge in turn, but the coach managed it there. Sometimes people think that the phrase merge in turn means merge as you go around the bend. No. Merge in turn means take turns to merge. So one in one, one from each lane merges in at a time. That is what you're supposed to do. Similar to, I suppose, letting people out of, side streets or whatever. So there are 3 people waiting to be let out. You let one go. Obviously, you're on the main road. Why is this one running their hazard lights? Okay. You're on the main road. You do not really have to, but if you can, let one out, and then hopefully a couple of cars back somebody will let one out. But what happens in some places is you let one out and they try to freight train you. So they the one behind squeezes right up, so you have no choice but to let them out, and then the next one squeezes right up behind them, so you have no choice but to let them out too, which is annoying, to say the least. I actually use my flight stick control to press. I'll take that. To press the handbrakes. Why did that lorry stop? It was clear we could both go. Okay, it looks clear, so I'm going to go for it. Quiet country road at night. Right, maybe I can try and figure out what my beams are now. So it is, that's not the beams. That's the beams. There we go. Good. Well, this is all lit up, so it doesn't matter. What I think I'm going to do is I'll probably use, there isn't a reasonable screenshot that I could take, so I'll just use a screenshot from in here whilst driving. That'll probably do the trick. So how long is this journey going to take? I have absolutely no idea. But we are joining the motorway. Nice early indication. Although this is a roundabout. You're on the roundabout before I am, but you are turning off. Okay. Be nice if they indicated a little earlier. So traffic has improved in ETS2, not by much. Obviously you still need mods, but traffic flow has improved in ETS2 over the years. Selection of cargo and rare places, obviously the special transport jobs came in. That was not a thing until a few years ago, so that has improved. This time I think that I can do that. I cannot tell you what's happened in the last video. I still do not know. I haven't yet looked back at the footage, so it could very well be that I just missed the vehicle. It was down in a blind spot or something like that. Or it is also possible that the vehicle was on the opposite lane and wanted to come across, and as I pulled out, they pulled in. That is also a possibility. Let's pick up some speed. Apparently I'm supposed to be doing 50, but let's just do about 56 to 60 miles per hour. That car has no rear lights. Interesting. Weather is about the same as what it has always been. Lorries, there are a lot more. There's a wider variety of trucks available now, cabs, as well as, is this merging? It is. Are you not going to merge? Come on. Okay, I thought you were going to. There you go. Come on. That's it. Excellent. So yes, a much wider variety of cabs available, interior assets. I remember when they did some of the packs for various different trucks. That was pretty interesting. In fact, speaking of trucks, somebody left a comment saying that it would be nice if I drove something different Please give me suggestions. What lorry, what cab should I purchase? My only restriction on those cabs is that it has to be very customizable. Whether it's modded or not, it has to be very customizable. That is my only restriction. If you can tell me what I could do, which cab would be useful for that. I think there's an MAN TGX or something that I came across, which seems like, why have you slowed down so much? Which seems like that could be a good option. So I may look at taking that and building and configuring one of those. Possibly. Not entirely certain. I took a look off camera at a Mercedes-Benz Actros as well. I remember driving an Actros right before I would even record ETS2. Is he going to just pull out? He is. But he did speed up. Oh no, then he hit the brakes. Why, Mr. Mondeo? Why have you done that? Are you not going to speed up any further? Please? Okay. So yes, if you have any suggestions, please do let me know. The one brand I'm not very keen on is Renault. Never liked the Renaults. DAF is an interesting one. I know them quite well because of the 3 wiper things. They have 3 windscreen wipers, and they have had that for a long time. I have no idea if the new ones do, but certainly all of the older ones, they had 3 windscreen wipers. But Scania has always been the top brand for me. In the UK, we used to have a lot of Scanias over the years as I was growing up. A lot of Scania. That sign has fallen over. Nice little bit of detail. A very nice little bit of detail there. We used to have Scanias and Bedfords. A lot of Bedfords. And Iveco for trucks. But for lorry cabs, there used to be Scania and Bedford and DAF. Yes, those were generally the ones you have. And still to this day, the majority are Scania and I think Mercedes-Benz now. You do see a lot of Mercedes-Benz. You still see DAF. Do not see that many in general, but it's still quite a lot because obviously it's lorries. But you do not see, comparatively, you do not see that many MANs or Volvos. I think there was a point in time where you did used to see quite a bit in terms of Volvo, but that is now gone. But Scania is always generally at the top of the list. Just trying to accelerate up smoothly. One thing I think Assetto Corsa could learn from ETS2 is the idea of the clutch. I think the clutch is much better in ETS2. It just feels better. Assetto Corsa, it feels like an on-off switch, and even in Assetto Corsa Evo, it does feel a little bit like an on-off switch, which is not great. BeamNG Drive, though, that does it the best. That definitely does it the best. Is that a Mercedes? Oh, what was that one called? Not SL. It's one of those AMG ones. I can't remember which one it's called. That's not an E. It's not an S. Oh, was it an S? S800? Was Was that what it was called? Really big car, but coupe. I think so. Not entirely certain. I've run out of things to talk about with ETS2. It's an old title. I'm still trying to figure out anything else that has had this sort of longevity. With only one title. So I'm not talking about something like let's say a series. I'm not talking about a series as such. So we cannot say, oh, Gran Turismo has had this sort of longevity. Gran Turismo has 7 titles. 7 main sequence titles, that is. So it is a little different. That being said, I suppose you could say Gran Turismo 4 has had this sort of longevity. A lot of people play Gran Turismo 4. Yeah, that is a Mercedes. Oh, why do they slow down so much? At least I think that's a Mercedes. Looks like it. Now I'm actually questioning myself as to whether or not that is. Perhaps some old... Oh, actually, I do know a game that has had this sort of longevity. Age of Empires 3. Age of Empires 3 to this day. I think Age of Empires 3 has more players than Age of Empires 4. And Age of Empires 2... No, sorry. Age of Empires 4 has more players than Age of Empires 3. Age of Empires 2 has more players than Age of Empires 4. That might be what it is. I was looking at these some weeks ago. I was just curious about who still plays these sorts of titles. And the number of people that play Age of Empires, the old Age of Empires, is really high. And hopefully Microsoft learns from that and realizes that there was something about the old titles that the new titles just do not have. And they need to really work on it. One of them is balance, but there are other things as well. So yes, maybe strategy games would have had this sort of longevity, but certainly not a simulator that I can think of. Even, for example, race simulators, Live for Speed. Does anybody remember Live for Speed? That had a decent run, but then I suppose R Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa superseded it. Or R Factor. No, R Factor was around the same time as Live for Speed. So R Factor 2, I suppose, superseded it, and Assetto Corsa. So you have these older titles that definitely did not remain the favoured title, or did not have the level of game time that they used to have. Obviously, game time will drop off. I'm sure less people play ETS2 now than perhaps 10 years ago. In fact, maybe not. Maybe not. I think ETS2's peak was probably around the 2020, 2022-ish. I think that is when ETS2's peak was. But I really do not know. What's other titles? Old. I'm trying to think. Really go back to old titles. Ratchet and Clank really isn't played. Crash Bandicoot, but they re-released that. So does that count? I suppose you could count a re-release. The reason being is that you could say, well, the re-release is just like ETS2 being updated and releasing DLCs and all of that kind of stuff. It tries to keep it fresh. So maybe that is, you could argue that. I think that is something that can be argued. But then, is Crash Bandicoot played quite as much as... What other titles were there to combat Crash Bandicoot? There was Rayman. There was Spyro the Dragon. these things all have followings, but are they played the way something like this is? There is nothing else. Maybe the reason for that is because there is nothing else like this. That could probably be it. To be honest, thinking about it, there is nothing else like ETS2, and because of that, you really have to. It is either this or nothing. So maybe that is the reason. That is the reason that this title has been so long lived. If there was competition, and obviously it has to be good competition, then perhaps it wouldn't be quite as popular. I'm thinking about things like Gran Turismo versus Forza versus Project Cars. Obviously not quite the same level of competition, but it definitely gave something. There was competition there. So that's what I'm thinking of. Or Flight Simulator releasing every 4 years, but then you had X-Plane when they stopped, and then they had the partial disaster that was Microsoft Flight. So X-Plane took over, and then you had Prepared. So you didn't have to. You had other options. Whereas this really does not. I'm also thinking about other simulators. I remember OMSI. That was the simulator where... Okay, this is now a reference to Derail Valley. I've been trying to figure out which simulator you could slam the windows shut, and when you slam the windows shut, it would make a noise, like the window... a thumping noise that you're slamming the window shut. I think it was OMSI. Because I was trying it to Derail Valley and I'm thinking, this is not working. This is not doing what I wanted to do. Because it was the wrong title. Yes, there we go. Right, so OMSI was replaced by Bus Simulator. Which is, I suppose, is doing alright. It isn't doing that great, but it isn't the greatest of titles, if I'm completely honest. It isn't bad. It's pretty good, and for what it does, it's pretty decent. But it's a bit simplistic. I think OMSI was a little bit more complicated, and when I remember reviewing this, I was expecting more of an OMSI level, but it just wasn't quite there. Still, there is promise for that sort of title. Certainly there is promise for that. Strategy games live long, as I think we've established. Rise of Nations is still played to this day. Maybe that would possibly be the other one. That would possibly be it. That could be a title that is played to this day, that has lasted a long time, because that came out in 2003, I think. 2003 was... So you had Age of Empires 2, Rise of Nations, Age of Mythology, Age of Empires 3. So yes, I think it was about 2003 or thereabouts. I have the disc somewhere. I do still have the disc for Rise of Nations. So strategy games last a long time. Oh no, that's the Pleiades. I'm fairly certain that's the Pleiades that I can see. Excellent. That wasn't a roundabout, was it? No, there's no way that could have been a roundabout. Because I managed to go straight over it. Right, I am... Why does this keep stalling? That was second gear. That should have been... No, it's done it again. Oh, it's because it's fourth gear. Somehow I managed to... I pressed the wrong button. I went to high range, not lower gears. So the two buttons I have are next to each other. And I tapped the wrong one. And they're both on the steering wheel. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. Just realised what I really should be doing is this. Right, can I do this? Because this is not... It's always a long... It's been a long time since I've done this. So, I remember... What does it say? Follow the rear wheels around. But I'm going to touch the... Yep. I knew I'd done that wrong. Because I was too close. Let's get right up near this. Again, this should do the trick. Right, we should be able to turn it now. Now we've got plenty of room. Okay, so I remember the trick is follow the rear wheels around. So just steer to keep the rear wheels going where you want them to go. That's what you're supposed to do. And then, oh, why does it keep bouncing back? This is not helping. My head tracking is being really stupid. That hasn't helped in the slightest. Right. Head tracking, behave yourself. There we go. And then just follow it in. That's what I was trying to do. That should turn green. There we go. Job done. Do that. Handbrake on. That there. Engine off. Maybe bring the... There we go. Engine off. Detached trailer. End of video. Or just about end of video. See what we've got. Not much. Let's have a look at the jobs though. It's 2 in the morning, so maybe, just maybe, if I could take a job that takes me 2 episodes. I mean, that's all on pretty much on roads that we know, but don't want to do that. Oh, here we go. We can just keep going further north. I could just keep going further north. How is that repair parts? And that's a possibility. Or I could go across. That offer expires in 18 minutes. Maybe not. I'll have to decide. Or I could just, just not go from here. For example, I can go up here and see what's up here. If I can jump. Look at that one. That's quite a job. That is quite a job right there. That's no good. I want something that would take me further north, or that's along roads that I've already been on. Back down to Danbury. That I've pretty much done. That I've done. Okay, there's not much to go off here. Maybe there's something out up here. Well, first off, I need to know where I can jump to. That would be a what's it called? Not quick job. Navigation, quick travel. Navigation, up to quick travel. So I could go up to these areas. So I can look at Tonio Rovaniemi. I don't know how that's pronounced. Kokkola. Okay. I don't want to go all the way back down to Stockholm, unless there's something from Stockholm that takes me across to here. I could look at Helsinki. Let's see if there's anything out there, because that's a big place. I also have to take into consideration whether or not I want to continue this series for that much longer. There is a lot. Hello. That looks decent. Beef all the way up. There'll be 2 videos. I could do that. I can jump there and do that, and that is probably going to be as north as I've ever been. You take the first journey up to somewhere around here, first leg, and then take the second leg up to there. And that's all on new roads, right? Yes, that is all along new roads. So that's going in towards the fjords. These are all the fjords here. That might be something I take. That might actually be something I take. But for now, I'm going to end this video. Again, if you have any suggestions for what lorry I should take or what cab I should purchase, please do let me know in the comments box. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click on the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Euro Truck Simulator 2. We will get to episode 200 at the very least. To be completely honest, if I just go out of this... No, not there. Not the world map either. This is a little... There we go, that's the one I wanted. If we go to... Oh no, actually it was the world map that I wanted. Rubbish. If we go to this, I've only explored 16.5% of this entire map. That is a really, really small amount. It's just, I could keep going for a very long time. I could really, really keep going for a very, very long time. Apparently, we can go all the way up to... Well, isn't this Greenland? We have a place in Greenland? Alright. I did not know that. World's largest island, Greenland. Is there anywhere else that I had no idea that we could go up to? Okay, what island is this? I do not know. That's one yes, I have no idea what that one is. So we can go up there, we can go down here, it's Cyprus, right? Down to Sicily, we've got Turkey, all of the Balkans. Nothing into Africa. No, nothing into Africa. Which is fine. Interesting. Well, yes, that is where I'm going to end it. As I said, if you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. Link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me, and I will see you next time in Euro Truck Simulator 2, where I will probably do that journey, taking beef from Helsinki all the way up to, where was it that wanted me to take it? Somewhere up here in the Norwegian fjords, which should be quite interesting. So make sure you stay tuned, and I will see you next time.